Hey everyone, before we get going, this video is current as of patch 1.181.6. Welcome to another episode of Basic Engineering. Last week we spoke about conveyor systems very briefly. Now, before we get into building ships and kind of going into more depth about the different blocks, we should kind of discuss how to gather resources from a survival standpoint. Now, how things work is we're going to need resources throughout the game, and it can be somewhat confusing, if not intimidating, how we actually work these different resources. Now, when you go out mining, you're going to look for things like iron ore, you're going to look for gold, and so on and so forth. And how it works is you get the ore, you put it into a refinery, the refinery will turn it into an ingot. From there, you will command an assembler what components you need, and then you take those components to a block, and you build the first block, and then you use a welder to finish it. So, for now, we're going to talk about gathering the resources. As you can see around us, we've got this red stuff. That is actually iron. Now, each material has its own unique texture, and there are many different types of resources as well. So if we look here, we've got like stone, iron, nickel, cobalt, so on and so forth. If you look at the top here, this TV is programmed to show all the raw resources in the refineries, and then over here we have the refined resources, which are ingots. This is just what is available, and that is what we can pull from to make stuff. Now, if we go down to any terminal that's connected to this grid, and we can even use this small grid because it's connected there, but if we go up to this terminal here, we went into production here. Now, if you look here, you can click here and you can select different assemblers. Don't mind the TIM part for now, that's going to be later on. However, this is queued up to make different items. However, we're missing iron. So, in order to make components, you have to make sure you have got the proper resources first off. So since we do not have iron here, why don't we do that now? Now, we are currently in our ship, and it doesn't have to be this ship. You can make any ship you like. I will remind you that with these resources gathered, they will automatically be pulled from the ship into the refinery, and then the assembler will make whatever resources we need. So it's good to get in a cycle in which you're constantly dumping the next resource you're going to need in the future. Okay, so now that we've gotten some ore, we're going to go and dump it into here. Now, we have a connection port here. If you're in a ship, all you have to do to connect any kind of mag locks, landing gear, or connector, you just connect to it. You press, when it's yellow, that means it's good to connect. You press P, and there we go. The ship is connected. It becomes one grid. And so if we look at the raw resources, that's weird. Iron's not up. Oh, see, iron just updated to A3K. So if we go back over here, go to the production tab, and this will take us back here. We can go back to the master, and we will see that it is now producing iron plates. This is fantastic. So now that we have resources being refined and ready to go, this is what I was speaking about earlier. When you want to build a block, you'll select it from your toolbar, you press G and you can assign it to any number of these. If you're building off a grid, it will always remain the same size grid. If you click the number again that you have assigned to, you can essentially build a smaller version. Because I'm in creative mode right now, that's why I built the block solid. However, when you are in survival mode, it will give you these right here. Now, I've already gotten the resources in my inventory, but once the components are built, you'll want to get them out of the assembler or the storage container, wherever they end up, really. Now, if we go up to here and we have our welder out and we're against it, you'll see off to the right there that we have various components that we need, and that's everything you need to build that. Where the numbers are, the very left field, that actually contains how many you have in it. The ones on the right is what is required. So why don't we weld this up? And mind you, this is a level 1 welder. They do come in faster torches. Now, anything underneath the functional line there, it is not usable. This could be usable now, but it's not airtight. Doesn't contain as much armor. And the reason also, you'll see hack under there, that means you can actually bring something below that threshold and then weld it up, and then the ownership will become yours. That is a topic for another day. So we just built this, and I know I didn't show you my inventory, but it did use up everything I had in there. So bear that in mind. So if this is just a block here, armor block, it's only got 4 steel plates in it, but it needs a total of 24 more or something like that. So we need to get those resources. So we could go into here. Got 30 plates. And there we go. We have a beautiful light armor block. Now, when you use this method of building, it's good to get in a habit of keeping certain objects always ready. So if we go into here, what I mean by certain objects, I mean certain components. Couple of components you're going to use probably the most frequently are light armor, so you're going to need steel plates, interior plates, and construction components. Those 3 you're probably going to be using the most. Probably the next common ones are large steel tube and then small steel tube, and don't forget motors as well. Now, all of these things have different material requirements, and you can actually hover over them and it'll actually tell you if you have the available materials. Don't always take that literal. Sometimes they just haven't been refined yet. They don't actually take raw resources into account. They take ingots that have been refined already. And when it comes to finding certain materials, you're not going to find all the same materials in the same location. Meaning, if you're on Earth, you're not going to find platinum. If you're on the moon, you might have a hard time finding silver. You're just going to find more resources in different locations. Asteroids tend to be gold mines for a little bit of everything. Well, I know this was a brief video of engineering basics, but I hope this helped. Next time, we are going to discuss building a ship. Thank you for joining me. I am Lost Fighter. I'll catch you later.